watching, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about how to work in the USA as a lab scientist or medical lab technologist, whatever the name is, he's gonna correct it. But please continue. So you said the examination takes about an hour, but the requirements, once again, the person should have uh, uh, been through a program, be it a diploma or a bachelor's, and is there any work experience required?
So the work experience is not really required for you to take the exam. The only thing that is required is having your degree and probably having a license from your home country. Your work experience doesn't count for the exam, but to practice, especially here in the US, you might actually get some work experience back in your home country. Most hospitals that sponsor clinical lab scientists here, they always go for people with experience, especially experience within as a generalist, like working in different sectors of the lab. So your experience counts only during your work, like getting your work visa or trying to get a job.
Okay. So right after the 1 hour examination, you find out that you've passed, and then what is the next step after passing?
Next step is your English exam. So if you require visa, you need to write, just like in nurses, you need to write sorry, either the IELTS or the TOEFL or the OET exam. Then you get your visa screen and you apply for job. Mostly there are some agencies that recruit. I think for the most part, most agencies that recruit for nurses also recruit for clinical lab scientists. Like I know the Passport USA at some point we are recruiting Connectics, we are recruiting. And I just want to mention this. I think there is a currently there is this lottery going on for H1B visa for nurses and for clinical lab scientists. So you might have to be intentional about your like trying to get onto this lottery. Most of them are on LinkedIn, like a lot of agents or agencies on LinkedIn looking out for clinical lab scientists with ASCPi. Even without ASCPi, some of them are looking for spot to sponsor you. So you have to network well on LinkedIn, and if possible, do your ASCPi exam so that they know that ASCPi and English and the IELTS, so that they know that you're ready to move immediately. You get your papers intact and stuff like that. So
So for the English
technically
exams, is it just IELTS they accept, no EET, no OET, and the other examinations?
they accept either IELTS or TOEFL
Okay.
or OET. But the one I'm so sure about is IELTS or TOEFL. OET is debatable.
You spoke about H1B visa. Is that the only visa that a lab scientist can come on? You cannot use the EB3 like nurses. The EB3 gives a green card. The H1B is like conditional, 2 to 3 years. The contract is over. That's what I know. If anything, you can share on that. Throw some more light to that.
Actually, when it comes to visa, I'll just say the one I'm more familiar with. I'm more familiar with the H1B visa. The EB3 NIW, I heard about that recently for the doctors. I don't know about labs. I think it works for every professional because I think one of the clauses, if I can remember about the visa, is either you practice.
It's employment based visa category three.
Yeah,
The EB stands for employment based. So mostly healthcare workers or skilled workers fall under that EB3. But I know that we can also use H1B.
yeah. So most people, for me, I'm more familiar with the H1B route. You can't go through J1; it's only H1B, and most hospitals or most establishments might sponsor your green card if you work with them for like 2 3 years. I'm not so sure about that. I think for the most part, people go through agencies like the agencies that recruit nurses, like the Green Staff and the Connectics and all those guys, Connectics USA. There are a lot of them recruiting from LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I'm so sure of. Um, but you need to get your things intact, like things, get your exams out of the way so that you know you're ready for them to start the process with you, because the process takes a while, like I think about 3 4 months or thereabout. So yeah, that's what I would advise. Get your exams out of the way and network. Try to reach out for some of these agents on LinkedIn. Most of them are waiting for you, and if possible, get some experience within, like in a very good establishment or hospital, because they always look out for people with a wide range of experience, like working in a hospital where there is a lot of samples to process. The big establishments out there, you don't want to be asked during your interview how many samples you're processing, and you're talking like 10 or 15. Like, it's not a positive thing for them. Yeah.
Okay. So any advice for to anybody watching who wants to embark on this relocation journey? Do you think it's worth it after putting in 10 years, 15 years of work back home?
Yeah. Okay. I can't say from a practical aspect, but I actually have seen. I have two of my colleagues currently practicing here as a clinical lab scientist. So, and I actually have seen how much progress they registered or recorded, and I've heard their own opinion about things like they still find as challenge and what they intend to do. But I think, in the grand scheme of things, I think it's something rewarding compared to what they were facing back in our home country. Um, like the fact that it's you have to bring your family and you have a route to green card, and there is always a career, you can change or
Progression.
digress or progression. It's something that you can count as a pro. Like, that's one of the merits of actually coming over here. And like, technically, if you look at the exposure, you can't actually trade it for anything. The Like, I've worked in the lab, not basically as a clinical lab, so this time around within the pathology field, like specifically pathology here. And some of the equipment I've seen here, I don't think I had exposure to some of such experience back in my home country. So the exposure is something that you count as a pro, or something as an advantage. So I think it's worth it. And if you want to do it, it's better you start right now, because if you keep procrastinating, you might see so many reasons not to go through it. If you're a clinical lab scientist and you intend to come over here in the US to work, I I believe you actually I believe it's something very rewarding at the end,
Mhm.
very rewarding, because you will be exposed to different aspects of clinical lab science. That I can say because I'm still within that field right now. Um, Back in my home country is basically hematology. You're restricted within just a small thing. But here, there are a whole lot of things you can do. The whole lot of things you can do, especially if you're someone that is open-minded and want to try other things. Like, the whole lot of things you can venture into. So I believe it's a rewarding process. It's something you pat yourself at the back, and when you look back, like 5 6 years back, after going through the process.
Okay, so what advice do you have for a foreign medical graduate who wants to come to USA through the USMLE route? Any regrets or obstacles you have faced and you wish you had known something during the process of application and you want to share with them?
Number one is, if you want to go through this route, start on time. Make up your mind on time. I know this is difficult for Nigerian medical graduates because people want to be sure that they already graduated as doctors. The rigorous training back home makes it difficult to call yourself a doctor till the day you graduate from medical school. Like, you don't want to be praying for USMLE and you're being rusticated from medical. I know some of my friends that we are rusticated from medical school. They have to go to pick up another course or something. So people want to be sure that they are doctors before they start the process. But I believe if even if you don't want to try it during medical school, keep keep your eyes on some of these review materials. It will help you in the wrong room. Like incorporating it into your studies and your training will help you a lot. So that when you finally graduate as a doctor, you just know that the process is going to be a little bit much easier compared to when you're seeing the whole thing for the very first time after medical school. Also try to look up on the try to always follow up on the US medical system because it's dynamic. There are a lot of changes going on, so you need to know what's happening. I think right now people are enlightened about the process compared to before because right
Because of
now
the videos we put out there and all that. Yeah.
videos and with the whole not with the whole COVID thing and people not traveling to the US for 6 years, people like compared to before, I've known because I belong to a lot of WhatsApp group of Nigeria and African doctors basically that want to practice here in the US. And I noticed there is a tremendous increase in the number of people that actually want to practice here. So people are becoming more aware,
Mhm.
and the materials for study is not as cumbersome as it used to be. Previously, it's if people just the material out there is kind of like let's see difficult to memorize and understand, especially for exam like this. They made it seem as if it's a non-doable exam. It's an exam that you just have to spend your whole life, and at the end, it doesn't make sense because you might not be able to pass, and even if you pass, you might not be able to get into the system. Like it's a whole lot of negativities out there about the exam. So, but right now it's more people are enlightened, people are becoming more aware, and the materials are out like this YouTube. Like basically every day during my preparation stage, I'll just go on YouTube and we see people telling you skills, what you need to do if you're not getting your MBME score up to par. You need to do this, you need to do that. And another thing I forgot to mention is have a mentor. Mentorship is very important in every field. One thing people are not aware of, especially in Nigeria or let's say in Africa, is the power of mentorship. Let me just give you these, just like it's just a quote about something I experienced during my interview. I was having an interview with a program director of one of the programs that called me for interview. So during the process, because it's a bilateral interview, like it's an interview where basically you're conversing with your interviewer. So they gave me opportunity to ask, or she gave me the opportunity to ask her question. So I was like, what engineered your interest in your field of specialty or where you specialize? She was like, you can't undermine the power of mentorship. She never knew about the field even during medical school, but while she was about to graduate, she was able to see one person or one doctor that is a renal pathologist actually.
Mhm.
She shadowed her, and after the 1 month of shadowing and getting to know about the field, she was really impressed. She like, this is really what I want to do. And during her residency training, she still keyed into that interest, and today she's a program director and she's also a renal pathologist. So she was talking about the power of mentorship and how mentorship can change a lot of things about your career. So that is something I feel is very important for we coming from, because most of us we're just thrown out there. We don't Most of us don't really know about mentorship per se. And even the mentors who have back are not well informed about what's happening, like the recent trend. Why? Because there's paucity of information. Thank God for the YouTubes you guys are putting out there. People are not really informed about the system and what's happening. So mentorship is vital for you to move very fast. Find a mentor, find people, study about the pathway, and don't procrastinate. Keep showing up every day. Keep pushing it. It can be difficult, especially for the med lab. If just an exam, just after that exam, that's it. But for the medicine, step one, step two, step three, your family is gonna ask you like, what's happening? Why all this whole long um
It's a long process. They don't get it.
so why do you have to go through this whole thing for you to be able to like get a license or something? Like
We
everybody
didn't talk
like, but
about
nothing.
cost. Not to cut you, we didn't talk about cost of the USMLE step one, step two, and no. I would love to hear about the cost involved if you can remember. The prices always change, but roughly how much is the step one, step two, step three? How much has it cost you so far?
Yeah, so for step one, it's I think this it has changed a little bit. When I applied, it was 970 US dollars. Step two is almost the same, 970, but step three is 1,000, either 1,050, 1,100, like 1,100 US dollars.
Wow. What about
This is just for the exam. The materials are and the resources for the exam. There is a Q bank you have to buy. 6 months you might be paying around 600 US dollars. Some
which Q
textbooks
bank did you use? Which name?
they call it U World.
U World. Okay,
Yeah,
same for
U
nurses. We
yeah,
have
U
it
World.
for
Yeah.
nurses.
Some people use Kaplan and U World, but majority use U World is actually the gold standard. It's like the gold standard for any USMLE exam. So, but it's very expensive. I don't even want to go into the cost. Is you have to pay from your nose. Like somehow you have to deny yourself some things for you to be able to pay, especially if you're paying out of your pocket. So it's a lot and lot of expenses out there. And
What about the ASCPi? How much was it to did you pay for that to write it? Evaluation and the writing of the examination itself.
for ASCPi, it's there's some countries I think you just have to pay 170 or 200. I know it's not more than 200 US dollars to register for the exam. The evaluation, I think that's I can't remember, but I didn't use the WES, so I used I think s- somewhat cheaper compared to WES um, evaluation company. So, but I don't think it cost me
The
more
next
than.
question I'm gonna get in the comment section. Can you ask him what evaluation company he used? Because it's cheaper.
Sure, sure. I will actually like post that. I will send that across after
Okay,
the
so he
video.
said he will avail himself when you're watching this video. You have questions, put them in the comment section. Ask and when he will come and read some of his questions and address address them at the appropriate time. So if we can't touch on everything, but leave the questions, he will be able to answer them in the comment section.
Yeah. Sure. And another thing I forgot to mention for the medicine, one of the things you need to get is clinical experience here in the US. I think also that's one of the expensive process or expensive part of the process because some of the hospitals might charge you like some charge about 1,000, 2,000 US dollars, and
At what
that's
point do you have to do this clinical exposure or clinical practice? Before residency, you get matched for residency, or when do you do that?
before you apply for residency.
Is it a requirement or is something optional?
Is it's optional, but just like step three is very important. Reason why I said it's very important is without US clinical experience, most likely you will lack a good letter of recommendation from a US trained doctor, and most programs prefer a doctor that is already trained here to give you a letter of recommendation. It's a plus for them if you've already rotated or did your rotation with a doctor here in the US because it shows them or to give them the impression that you already know about the US medical system. So if you're actually coming from a home country and you don't have a letter of recommendation from here, most likely you would get lesser interviews and most likely you might not be ranked high or you might not be
So
ranked during the
did you do this and how many months did you do it for? Personally, did you do that?
Yeah, I did that. I did about 5 to 6 months of US clinical experience last year. I was lucky enough to get someone in, actually is a Nigerian trained US doctor. He offered to do that for free, like he gave me for free. I was lucky. I got it from a friend of mine, and I have to travel to Texas to do another rotation. That I think, for the most part, is that one is a Pakistani trained US doctor. He also offered it for free, basically for Pakistani, not for we Africans. But I was lucky enough to get it also from a friend. A friend referred me to him, so I spoke to him. So he said, "Okay, I can come. If I can come to Texas, he will avail me the opportunity of doing my rotation with them." So I that was actually the experience I got,
So you
and
did both combined. You do 6 months all in Texas with two different doctors, Pakistani and Nigerian doctor, all makes 6 months.
yeah, so I did about 4 months with the Nigerian doctor, and sorry, 5 months with the Nigerian doctor, and just a month with the Pakistani doctor in Texas.
Okay, so when somebody wants to do this, how where would they find these opportunities? Or they have to know somebody before they can go in, or they apply to hospitals and say, "Look, I'm a foreign medical graduate. I want to do this thing so that I can apply for residency." Or how do they go about searching and finding information on how to do this in the hospitals around here in the US?
So for the US clinical experience, there is a private and there is the university setting, or there is the hospital, like university hospital setting. So if you want to get for the private, you can, let's say I'm currently in New York, I can just take a walk or just put up my Google map, look for the nearest. Let's say if I want to apply to family medicine, look out for the nearest family medicine physician. Mostly you like to go and meet someone that is a foreign, like someone that is an immigrant doctor, because they understand the struggle better than American trained doctors. So you go to the office, you talk to them, tell them that you're actually have done your exam, you're looking for US clinical experience. Most of them will value the opportunity. They might charge you lesser, they might just charge you like less than $1,000 US. But if you want to apply officially to hospitals like university hospitals for rotation, you have to go through a process. Most of them have a already outlined process. Some for top hospitals, I don't think you pay anything less than 5,000, like the John Hopkins and the Harvard. Those ones you have to pay really, really money, good money. But some you might have to pay 2,000, 3,000. Just what you just need to do is you get onto their website, get onto the program you intend to, or your specialty you intend to apply to. You see emails lined up there for people that want to do rotation. You send code emails. It's not going to be an easy process. I sent over nothing less than 500 code emails to hospitals, and you some of them, like majority of them, will not reply you. Majority will not reply you. The few that will reply you will give someone, like, okay, have a lot of people rotating with us, so this thing. Some will start charging you some money, like if you have the money you can pay to them, but it's going to be a whole
Wow.
lot of stuff. There are some agencies that can help you get these things, but the agencies, trust me, they even charge higher than the hospitals themselves. Like the agencies will place you in the hospital, but before they place you, they charge you for their own for their own service. So you're paying double the amount the hospital is supposed to pay the charges. So it's a whole lot of money and a whole lot of process going through this.
Wow. I
So that's
didn't know
process people
about
that,
that. I didn't know about this aspect of it. So it literally means that the person has to be in the US to achieve all that.
yeah. So one good thing about agencies, some of them might help you get write some letters
Mhm.
you should present to the US embassy during your interview. Some will blankly tell you that they don't give letters. So you have to just go and apply for visa. If you get in, fine. If you don't get in, you lose everything. Like you lose both the money and your time and everything. But one thing I would advise is don't pay for the rotation before your visa interview, because you might lose your money. Make sure you have your visa then before you start applying to agency or anybody that will offer you rotation. Because I've seen most foreign medical graduates lose a lot of money when they are stuck in their home country because they can't get this US clinical experience and they can't get visa, sorry.
My last question before we go, we've been on here for a while. So that the USMLE, does it expire or as soon as you write it, it's forever? You don't have to rewrite it.
Yeah, that's a very important question. So if you write all your exam within 7 years, it doesn't expire. Like there's an expiration date, but it's more like it's subject to amendment. Let me put it this way: before COVID, it used to be if you get it, it's for life. After COVID, they give it for a time frame, for a time period. Like right now, most people that we are ECFMG certified in 2023,
Mhm.
yeah, expiration for the ECFMG or for licenses up to 2025. Yeah, and they will keep amending it till I don't know till when. So basically, technically, I would say that it expires. It expires, but I don't think you should be more worried about the expiration. You should be more concerned about writing the whole exam because if you write step one or write step one and step two and you didn't complete the whole exam within 7 years, you lose the exams you've already written. So you have to start all over to write the whole exam when you want to restart after 7 years. So your goal should be finish the whole exam within 7 years and get your ECFMG license. Then you have to deal with that part of expiration, which to me is subject to like these guys they always like amend and make some
Yes.
changes. But
And
immediately you match, let me just put it immediately you get into match into a program. I think after your first year, it's you can't your license your ECFMG license sticks with you like it sticks forever.
wow. Anyway, thank you very much for throwing a lot of light on this process. I wish you all the foreign medical graduates the best, the same to lab scientists as well. And for nurses who want to work in the USA, you know where to find me. I'm on here at USRN Pathway Consult.com. Just put that on your Google search and then you can register on our website and we'll help you write and clicks, pass, and then find your employers in the USA. It is doable. People are making career switches. For those who are interested in going to nursing school and changing career, somebody has done it. It is doable. And for nurses who want to become medical doctors, this is the USMLE journey in the future in case you embark on that process. KC, Emmanuel, Dr. Emmanuel, thank you very, very much. And I cannot wait to hear the good news that you have been matched in March,
Yeah, I'm
so
watching.
that so that you come back on our channel and tell us the good news. And then most people will have a reason to commit to this process. It's very intensive, it's expensive, but I think it's doable. And if you want to have a better quality of work, working in the USA is top notch, and that nothing beats that. So thank you very much and have a good day. And thank you all viewers for watching. Share this video if you like it, give us a thumbs up, share it with others, and we'll see you in the next video. This is a part two video. So it's gonna be part one and two. If you haven't seen the two, you have to go and see the part one so that everything can connect nicely. And I wish you all the best. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. You too. It's my
Thank
pleasure.
you.